some things that just really stand out as a Brit living in America. Things that feel completely different compared to life back in Britain. So here are the top 3 differences that surprised me the most when we moved here and still catch my attention every single day. Number 1 is military appreciation. I'm ex-military and my husband is still serving. And whenever we go anywhere with him in uniform, people always stop to thank him for his service. That just does not happen back home in England. I served 14 years in the Royal Navy and not once did anybody ever stop me or my husband to say thank you. When I was serving, we were actually told not to wear our uniforms while traveling, mainly for security reasons. So to see my husband here in America wearing his uniform out in public and for people to go out of their way to thank him still feels quite surreal to me. People in America seem to have a much deeper, more visible respect for the military, and I think that comes down to culture and history. Patriotism is such a big part of American identity. The flag, the anthem, and the armed forces are all tied to the idea of freedom and national pride. So people make a point of showing gratitude, and it's really, really nice. In Britain, we respect our forces too, but it's shown in a quieter, more reserved way, usually around Remembrance Day or at military events. Here, it's part of everyday life, and that difference still really stands out to me. Number 2 is religion, and I can only speak for myself and where I'm from, but it just feels so much bigger here. Back in the UK, faith tends to be quite private. It's not something people usually talk about or bring into everyday life, not where I'm from anyway. Here though, it feels very open, very present, and I don't mean that in a bad way, not at all. It's just something I've really noticed and actually find quite heartwarming at times. In the States, it's completely normal to see prayers before meals, before barbecues, even before kids' sports games. My daughter's preschool is even part of a church, which felt a little bit strange to me at first, because that's just not something I've really seen back home. I've seen nurseries in church halls in the UK, but they're usually just using the space. They're not actually ran by the church itself. My daughter was actually supposed to be christened on a Type 23 warship back in the UK, but when the Queen passed away, there was a 10-day period of mourning, so it was cancelled and we haven't managed to rearrange it since. But we're planning to finally do it here in the States, which feels quite special in its own way. There's just such a different atmosphere around faith here in a way that's both surprising and lovely to witness. And I think that's what's really stood out to me, the sense of togetherness that often comes with it. Even if you're not particularly religious yourself, you can still feel how much community life revolves around those shared values. It's been interesting to see it through my daughter's eyes too. She's growing up surrounded by it, learning songs and stories, and it's made me appreciate how faith can be such a big part of the culture here. Number 3 is flags and patriotism, and this is one of the biggest visual differences I've noticed living here. In the States, you see the flag everywhere, outside homes, schools, shops. It's part of daily life and a symbol of pride that everybody seems to share. There's a real sense of belonging tied to it. Back home in the UK, it's completely different. Right now, there's actually a lot of debate and even tension over the flag. Some people have been putting them up as a show of national pride, while others have taken them down because they don't want to be seen as making a political statement. Sadly, the flag has become quite divisive. Some people associate it with far-right movements or racism, while others just see it as representing the country that they love. Here in the States though, the flag feels unifying. It is everywhere and it is not viewed as extreme. It's simply part of everyday life. And as a Brit, That's something that's really beautiful, and it still really stands out to me. I've even noticed whole neighborhoods lined with flags on certain holidays, Memorial Day, Independence Day, Veterans Day, where every porch has one flying proudly. But even when there isn't an event or a holiday, you still see flags waving outside homes all year round. Schools often start the day with the Pledge of Allegiance, and even at sports games or community events, everybody stands together for the national anthem. There's this shared moment of respect that really brings people together, no matter what their background is. In the UK, we tend to be a bit more reserved about patriotism. We show it for the King's coronation or a big sporting event, but it's usually temporary. Here, it's consistent. There's a deep appreciation for what the flag represents: service, sacrifice, and unity. What's interesting is that it doesn't feel forced or performative. It's just part of the culture. It's a way of saying, we're proud to be American, in the same way we might say we're proud to be British. But here it's visible, literally flying high on nearly every street. It's such a defining part of the landscape. The funny thing is, the longer I've been here, the more little things I notice. Things you'd never think about until you move countries. Like how people decorate their homes for every season, or how community life just feels so open and so welcoming. It's such a different energy, and I've really grown to love it. So those are just 3 of the everyday differences that really stand out to me living here in the States as a Brit. I think that's what makes living abroad so interesting. You start to see both countries a bit differently. There are things I absolutely miss about the UK, and others I've come to really appreciate here in the US. It's not about better or worse, it's just different, and that's what makes it fascinating. I'd love to know what you think. Do any of these surprise you? Or if you're from the States, do these just feel completely normal to you? Let me know in the comments, because I genuinely love reading everybody's thoughts and experiences. If you like seeing what life looks like through a Brit's eyes here in the States, make sure to subscribe. Every week I share more about travel, culture, and history. The small differences, the funny moments, and the stories that connect both sides of the Atlantic. It's not just about noticing what's different, but understanding why, and that's what makes it all so fascinating to me.